Cyndi, Shawna Karrasch here. Okay, I got your Ask Shawna question kind of came on an Ask Shawna question on Facebook. So I'm just going to answer it. It says, hi Shawna, I have a question about timing when trying to reinforce inquisitiveness in spooky horses. My mare is often alarmed by new things in her environment and typically does a lot of stopping and snorting when we go to investigate. I'd like to work on let's go check it out as you describe in the video, but I'm not sure about when to click and treat. To me, the snorting seems like her gathering information about the threat, but I don't necessarily want to reinforce snorting. Would the ideal timing be see the spooky object, stop and snort, take a step towards the object, click and treat, and then repeat? Thank you for all the work you do to help people like me who are trying to learn on their own. Your podcasts and videos are my primary resource for clicker training, and I'm so grateful for them. Well, thank you, Cyndi, and I am glad that you're working on these pieces, and I really appreciate the questions. In these questions, I can't answer everything, as much as I'd like to. So I like it when I get a little clarification of what you need to help you get to the next step or to clarify a point in it. So I quite appreciate it. All right. So what I do, I always look at the training as I'm constantly raising the criteria. So if I have a horse who tends to be kind of super aware of their environment and they look at something and I can see that they have an issue with something, I will even just, in the very beginning, oftentimes I used a target because I wanted to create them going towards the object, because if they're really spooky, they're going to look at it and maybe even back up or not approach it. So if I see something, and I try to be really good about anticipating what might be scary for them, I think he doesn't like things on the ground, or he doesn't like things flapping, or whatever it might be. And if I see something flapping ahead, and I'm going to go, flapping might be too much in the beginning, but let's say I see something on the ground and I know that stuff on the ground tends to catch their eye more than things off in the distance. And so I may say, oh, okay, look, there's some, something up there on the ground, or changing, there's a puddle, I don't know. And so as we're coming up to it and I kind of tell they're looking a little bit, but still back far enough that I feel like I can keep them under threshold. So we maybe have gone just a touch into their threshold where they're like, what is that? But it's still far enough away where they can go, yeah, but I'm good with it. I'm not worried about it yet because I'm not right next to it. And so a lot of times I will take the target and I click them for going towards something. So I can just put it in my waistband a lot of times. And so I can pull it out when I'm ready to do something and then utilize it in the scenario. So I don't have to walk with the target out all the time. I just have it in there like a sword. But anyway, so and even the belts I have a little ring so you can put a target through there. But then as we get going and as we get closer, what I have often found is maybe, let's say we get them closer to it. And if I have a spooky horse, I'm not going to push them, because there's certain horses that will do too much, and they'll spook themselves. So I'll be like, you know what? If you're that guy particularly, I'm going to keep you back here. We're going to process it, over a few days versus go right to it. But if they're really spooky, I want to keep them under that threshold. I want to keep them where maybe they're just a little bit challenged by it, but I know that they can come back down and go, I'm good again. So I may ask them to get a little bit closer and a little bit closer. But I find a lot of horses, once they get to a certain degree of closeness, they're like, forget the target. I want to see what that is. and I want to reinforce that. So I reinforce, like you said, not even the snorty part. So hopefully you're addressing it from way back. So once you get to snorty, they're over threshold typically. So if I start seeing them just kind of starting to look a little bit, and you can see the nostrils will probably start going a little bit, stop right there. Don't go any further, and just reinforce them looking at it, Or even sometimes I reinforce them for looking back at me and saying, don't worry about it, just focus on me, and it's no big deal. Because ultimately, my big goal is I want them to walk by stuff. I don't want them to feel like I have to touch everything, because riding would be challenging. We would just be spending time going back and forth. So I want them ultimately to be where they're just going to walk by it and they can see it and go, oh yeah, okay, no big deal. So as we're getting closer, I will reinforce them for even looking at it and getting a little bit closer. And a lot of times once they get that last point, which I think I said in the video, and it's for those of you that maybe aren't on Facebook, it's Charlotte and her Spooky Mare Part 1 is the video that Cindy's referring to. But as we get a certain amount of closeness, I find that they will, like I said, they'll blow by the target and they want to explore it. And then oftentimes I find out, it's one thing if it's a flappy movie thing. Then I'm like, you're going to think this is scary all along. But if it's a paver on the ground, or it's a, something that they can approach, once they get there, then they explore it and you can see them going, that's nothing. And that kind of reinforces them right then and there. So I'm watching for those little pieces though, because there's some horses that keep themselves really scared the whole time. So I'll just say, just look at it. That's good enough for today. I'm going to reinforce you a lot. We're going to make a wide berth and go around it. And maybe we come back a little bit later. Maybe we come back tomorrow. Maybe we come back in a few days. But I will try to keep them under threshold. So if they need a wide berth, I encourage their try. It's their attitude. It's their decision to look is more important than anything. So when I see them going, well, what is that? And I can just reinforce them and the good thing about the target, why I like the target, because if they're just seeing the thing and they're staring at the thing, then they say staring at the thing and it's not a comfort place. But a lot of times if you hold the target out, you'll see them kind of go, okay, target. And they'll go a little more willfully and a little bit more relaxed to the target, because the target is something they're making a choice to go to, and it's something that has, by this point in time, if they know the target, it has a good association. So a lot of times I will see the tension dissipate a little bit when they go to the target. So you'll kind of see them, if they can let go of that and go to the target, even if it's they're kind of staring at that but touching the target, they're making a choice to bring themselves to a cognizant place where they're wanting and making a choice to work with you. And so that is more important than anything, is come back to me. Let's work together. Let me help you through this. And as it goes on, you will see pretty soon they really do start to look at things and think, that's an opportunity for reinforcement. Even if they're a little startled, and you'll see a little bit of it. And as they get more comfortable in general, you'll see them going a little closer to it. And I don't mind. There's a period where they drag me to things. Not drag me, but I can tell they're like, I want to see it. And I say, okay, we're going to go see it. I'm going to let you take the lead here. We'll go see it. And I reinforce them for that curiosity and for that investigation, because that investigation, like I said, it reinforces them that's not that big a deal. And they start to learn and see things as a new opportunity for reinforcement, or just something to be curious about and learn about. So it's a great way to help broaden their horizon, their exposure to things and how they look at new things and new sights and new sounds. So it's not always, as much as I'd like to give you a recipe, like do this exactly for 4 times and then you do that for 8 times. And, it doesn't work like that, because they're all such individuals who have their own personalities, their own, genetics, their own history, their own experience with things that they bring to the equation that we can't, it's not the same, so really looking for the tension to resolve just a little bit, softness to come in just a little bit. So if they're looking like this and then I see them go, well, I guess it's okay, and I see their eyes soften a little bit, their face lets go of a little bit of tension, I say, that's good. Softening, letting go, choosing to relax a little bit is what I'm looking for, or choosing to let go of that tension, which oftentimes results in physical relaxation. So I hope that cleared it up, because it's not as black and white as I would like it to be for you, but I really do. And it was good observation saying, I don't want the snort in there. You can chain in behaviors and then they become part of it. And they think, oh yeah, I snort. And then I go look at it, and we don't want to do that. You can't really reinforce the emotions. The emotions are genuine, they happen or they don't. But we can change the association. We can look for physical relaxation. And so I think it's a good observation to maybe not do it just at the snort. Try to get it before snorting is even a thing. Because I think if you look closer, they'll be going along and then they'll start kind of getting a little fixated on the thing, whatever the thing is. And sometimes I take them to things that it's not a scary thing. There's just a rock there. Can you touch the rock? Good, reinforce. And it doesn't even have to be a scary thing, but it gets them used to kind of touching new and unusual and foreign things. Okay, Cindy, I hope that helps. And thank you for your question. And thank you for listening to the podcast and the Ask Shawnas. All righty, talk to you later. Bye. Oh, by the way, it's Shawna Karrasch coming to you from Villanova. And if you have more questions, you or anyone else, and I'm going to let you know this too, you can go to shawnakarrasch.com, which takes you to villanovatraining.com, and you will find there's an Ask Shawna tab. And on that Ask Shawna tab, you can submit questions and I will answer them. So there you go. So if anybody has questions or you have more questions, it's an easier way to keep track of it, because this feed's going to be, it's going to go on its way and we won't even know where it is. So I will post it on my YouTube channel as well, so you can get back to it. Anyway, so coming to you from Santa Fe, New Mexico and Villanova Training, I'm Shawna Karrasch, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.